Hello everyone, my name is Askur Hafsa and welcome to my English class. So for today's exercises we will have two ones. So let's start first with the first one. Let's read the instruction. Instruction says write the simple past of regular and irregular verbs. So of course you studied the simple past and you know that in the simple past we have two types of verbs which are regular and irregular verbs. So what is the difference between regular and irregular verbs? The difference between them is that for regular verbs we add ed at the end of the verb. But for irregular verbs we don't add anything, you just need to revise a list by heart. Okay, this is for the difference between these two types of verbs. Now let's read the sentences. In the total we have 8 sentences and for each verb in these sentences you have verbs that you need to conjugate into the simple past, paying attention to the verbs, are they regular or irregular. Now let's read the sentences. We have I confess my mistake. The verb is confess. 2. He go to bed early. The verb is go. 3. We meet in France. The verb is meet. 4. I not watch the movie last night. The verb is not watch. 5. What time he get up yesterday. The verb is get up. We have here he. Why? Because we have a question. 6. We not use the laptop every day. The verb is not use. 7. He have a shower. The verb is have. 8. They play video games. The verb is play. So what do you notice in these verbs? Here we have almost the same. The only difference is that for here we have not. This is the difference, we have not. And also in the 6th sentence we have not. So when do we use not? We use not in the negative form. So what is the rule of the negative form when it comes to the simple past? I think you will know it, so I will be reminding you of it now. So in the negative form, when it comes to the simple past, we add an auxiliary of verb to do in the simple past. Of course, you know that to do is an irregular verb. So we put do in the simple past. It is did. Okay, it becomes did plus what? Plus not. Okay? Why here I put not? Because negative form. So whenever we have a sentence in the negative form, we add the auxiliary of verb to do in the past plus not, which is did not. Okay? Plus verb in the base form. Okay? What do I mean by the base form? I mean verb without infinitive, and of course we don't conjugate the verb, which means the verb stays as it is. Okay? You got it? Good. Now let's move on to the another form. Okay? We have question. Let's look here. We have question. So what is the rule for interrogative form? Which means if we have a sentence that ends with a question mark, just like this one. Okay? The rule is that we start first with the auxiliary. Okay? So as I said, we add auxiliary of verb to do, which means in the interrogative form, I'm going to add the auxiliary of verb to do in the past, which is did. Okay? So I use did plus what? Plus subject. Why? Because we always tell that in the interrogative form we have like a certain inversion. Okay? There is an inversion, which means we start with the auxiliary, then the subject, then the main verb. Okay? So we don't start with the subject plus verb plus object like normally. No, we start with the auxiliary. Now I'm going to start with the subject. Okay? Subject plus verb in the base form. Okay, which means we don't conjugate the verb stays as it is. Okay? Yeah, this is for the rule of the interrogative form. I hope you got it. So now let's move to the answers. For the first one, I confess my mistake. Confess, is it a regular or irregular verb? I think it is a regular verb. So what do we do for regular verbs? We add ed, okay? So I'm going to write the verb as it is, like this, okay? And add ed at the end, okay? Why? Because this is a regular verb. And for regular verbs, we add ed. You got it? Okay. Now for the second verb, we have he go to bed early. Go, it's not a regular verb. So what is it? It's an irregular verb. And what do we do for irregular verbs? You need to look at your list, okay, that you have in your book. So, go in the past becomes went. So I will write went, okay? I'm not going to add ed, pay attention. Go, it's an irregular verb. We have it in the list. You will find go becomes went in the past. Now 3, we meet in France. The verb is meet. Meet again is an irregular verb, okay? So it becomes what? It becomes met, okay? So unfortunately for irregular verbs, there is no rule. You just need to revise your list. So please make sure to revise your list and learn your irregular verbs by heart, okay? Because you will need them in so many lessons. Now let's move to 4. I not watch the movie last night. The verb is not watch, and this is not an affirmative form, this is a negative form. So what is the rule for the negative form? The rule for the negative form is that we add did plus not. So I'm going to add it here. I will say I, okay, what? I did not, yes. And I will keep the verb as it is, okay? I did not watch the movie last night. So this is the answer. I hope you understood. Now let's move on to the interrogative form. So what is the rule for interrogative form? It's did plus subject plus verb in the base form, which means here I'm going to start with the auxiliary of verb to do in the past, which is did. Okay, so I will say we did. Okay, sorry, this one. I will say what time did, okay, did what? The subject is he, so I will put the subject next to the auxiliary. Okay, so what time did he get up? I will put the verb as it is. As I said, we don't change the verb, we don't conjugate it, it's in the base form. So, what is the question now? What time did he get up yesterday? So this is the rule for the interrogative form. Did he get up? Okay, you see there is an inversion. We have auxiliary plus subject plus verb in the base form. Next we not use the laptop every day. Not use this is the verb. It is in what? It's like just this one. It's a negative form. Okay, so the rule for the negative form is we add did not. Okay, plus the verb in the base form. So I'm going to do it again. I will add did. You see, it's very easy, right? So we did not use. We did not use the laptop every day. Okay? We add the auxiliary of verb to do in the past when it comes to negative form. Okay? Pay attention. 7. He have a shower. The verb is have, and if you look up the list, you will find have, which means it's an irregular verb. Okay? So it becomes had. Okay? So I will say he had a shower. Last but not least, we have the play video games. The verb is play. Okay, so play, is it a regular verb or an irregular verb? What do you think? Just try to think. Did you find it in your list of irregular verbs? I don't think so. So it is a regular verb. What do we do for regular verbs? We add what? Yes, we add ed. Yes, you got it right. Good. So I will just put the verb play and add ed. Why? Because it is a regular verb. So thank you for your attention. I hope you got the exercise and the lesson too. So now let's move on to exercise number 2. So the instruction says write the sentences in passive voice. Okay? So